Good evening guys, it's 6:18 p.m. Today is Wednesday, August 3rd. I think it's Wednesday. Yes. So hunting levels are the key today, and so does preferred buyers and sellers levels. Yesterday's low and high and yesterday's close, right? Game is all about these levels, right? So this is the statement, right? Hunting levels, yesterday's high and lows and closing, right? And then this is a hint, right? Strong open drive is required and then follow through, right? And then it is important we wait for the proper levels to be broken, right? And only exception for this thing is if it is an open drive kind of price action, then you can be aggressive in your entries, right? Until it goes out of the range, till then ping pong is expected, right? So okay, so as usual, right? I always get a phone call all the time around the same time, right? Even anytime I do video, I always get one phone call, right? And then I miss the link. But anyway, today you already know now, right? Hunting levels, open drive, right? All these things. So I'm not going to walk you through all these things, right? Because notes were simple today, because it was all level to level, open drive, maybe expectation, hunting levels, all this thing. This is for gold, right? These are the dream number. And then let's go here, right? So did I adjust the level? Actually I had a lights went off, so I didn't save it, this thing, so maybe levels are a little bit off. Hold on. Okay, so I got the levels squared away now. So these are the dream numbers, these dotted lines, okay, this and this, right? This is a preferred sellers area, preferred buyers area, backup sellers area, right? For ES you can see backup sellers area, backup sellers, today's sellers line in sand, right? And this is a preferred buyers area, backup buyers area, right? It is, the game is all about these levels, these blue lines which are my hunting levels, these blue lines, right? And yesterday's closing, which is this, right? So at least price gapped up, correct? So at least buyers have a control at that point in time, correct? But then a gap always get filled also, right? So you don't know whether it's gonna get filled today or not, right? So but at least it gap up, right? Gap up with good plus 1580, right? So at least signs were good for buyers of the open, right? But then NES also did an open drive, right, to the upside, right? But however, AD started tanking, right, while price was going higher. However, NQ had a nice open drive. See, ES compared to ES, if you look at here, ES was struggling, right, while NQ was clean cut open drive, right? So NQ has a very nice open drive today, right? At least we were expecting some kind of open drive, correct? But then open drive has to be across the board, not only in one instrument, right? So yes, NQ was leading, but then at the same time ES was struggling right here, but then ES also jumped, right? So now we have to assume at this point, that both are open driving. Like if you look at 5 minutes, it was an open drive, and then we discuss in pre-market voice, right, that break above this, we have to wait for proper levels broken down, right? This is the line in sand. If that is broken down, broken up, NQ was open drive up, right, we have to rely on the levels, right? So we have to wait for a breakout of the levels. This level was broken, I went long, right? Technically I could have gone long here also, right? And we already discussed in the pre-market that price has to hold 13 to 16 area, right? In pre-market we discussed these things, right? And if it holds it, then you want to see a breakout. If breakout happens, then you want, buyers are in control. We already discussed that scenario, all the scenarios we discussed, right? So the moment the breakout happens, instead of going long here, right, technically by looking at NQ I could have gone long here, right, 13.16, but today we decided we will wait for levels to be broken up or broken down, right? So when this line in sand is taken out, right, see NQ launched the move right from this preferred sellers area, right? Ideally somebody should have shorted it here, correct, because it's sellers area, but instead price started an open drive, right, went straight into almost this backup buyer area, backup sellers area, correct? So the way it went higher, it is an open drive. So here also breakout. So that was the long I took it, and then I told you also in Discord that I took this long, right? Then I said it has to hold at least above 18. That is what I said in Discord, right? So then price went higher here, and then it came down, right? And then here I was discussing that it should hold at least above 18, right? So I held these things, it went below 18 actually, right? But if you look at it, it never closed below 18. See that? So it's all 5-minute time frame, you know. So here, yes, it tried to close. Even here also it did not close below 18. See, if you look at it, I was watching at 5-minute, you know, but this is 18 level. See, it never closed below 18, you know, right here. So I held it, right? Then it went higher into backup sellers area, right around 1010, right, where NQ was, you know, super skyrocketing, correct? It even went through this backup sellers area, turned this area into support, correct? So, and here in Discord I said 166 to watch. So this was 166. At the same time, ES was at this area, right? So it's a good idea considering this chop in the ES, right? And considering this thing, see, price was here at 37, right here around 10:15, and 80 was like tanking actually, right? So this was not a good sign. So something was off here. See this thing, something was off. However, NQ was good, right? So does the momentum. So this momentum and this NQ, these two things were perfectly good for buyers. Even NQ's 80 was good, right? Only problem is ES was not lined up, you know, like properly. So that's why you take a profit here, you know. Either you take a profit, right, or because of these things, or you scale, you know, and then you can see it, you know, price even came down, right? So then I took a scale here, you know, at least 60%, you know, and then rest I held it, because except this there was no other sign that price would tank, right? But still 18 was a good area. So it came down here, right, and this was protected by VWAPs, right? Somebody again bought it here, which makes sense, right? Even here also somebody bought it when it came down, right? Which makes sense. This area needs to hold down, right? Then price went higher, right, and then it came down. See, this time, you know, while NQ was what time it was, 10:40. See, NQ, it went higher, but here, see, it again bounced from this area, backup sellers area, and then it came down below it, right? So at this point, you know, it was a risky position to hold your longs, you know. So remaining position I built out at break even right here, you know. NQ I took a profit here because the way it went higher, right, I took 100% profit here at that point. ES I waited because NQ was moved so much, but ES did not even move a lot, right? So the whole idea was ES to break out about this if buyers were strong, right? So I took a scale here, you know, and then, you know, break even here for rest of the 40% position, right? NQ I was out here, right? Then I had my deck guy came, you know, so I'm building a deck, right? So I went outside, right? And then I came back somewhere in between, you know, here actually when price was here, I came back after like few minutes, right? And then I saw this, right? So after this point I was thinking, man, day is getting screwed now, you know. But then, you know, when I came back, price was here, you know, after a few minutes. So since it held, it never broke below 18. It broke below 18, but it never closed below 18, you know. So while momentum was consistently holding above zero line entire morning, you know, it did not buzz even though AD went down, right? So NQ, even this trade also, 50-40 when it was coming down, I said it needs to hold 40-50, right? So that was a trade also there. So anyway, so for when it came down here, right, and then when I came back up, when I came back, price was here, right? So what this thing told me that now buyers want to really hold it. Despite this thing, they really want to hold it because momentum was back up again, plus 600. See here, if it wants to tank, it should have gone down to minus 600 and lower, right, with AD. But instead, it just again, you know, higher up, you know, again second time here also did not come to minus 600. See that? And then again it went higher. So it was consistently making plus 600, plus 600, while this thing was tanking. But then, you know, momentum is the key in day trading, you know. So, and price, right? So both were moving higher. So when I came down here, you know, came up here, I saw this breakout, right, and I immediately took long again, you know. So whatever this 40%, you know, I've got break even, I put it back to work, you know, right here. At the same time, I saw NQ breaking above this high, right, which already did, right, and it was also actually not breaking above, but it was also actually here. See, that was a long here, right here. See that, this 132 here, this line, right? So here it acted as a resistance, right? and then it came down. On the way up, it just sliced through it, and it was building a balance here, right, while ES was right here breaking out. So this was a trade here, right here, right here, okay. And then you wait for this thing to be taken out, because up to this point it's hard to believe that at second test it will tank because of this momentum, you know. It was around 1120 or so, right? Yes, so here 1110, right? See that? So momentum was plus 600 throughout, correct? So most likely it will break out, you know? So, and then it did, right? So that was another trade right here. See 47, that was here above. Once you know it is above hunting level, you know hunting levels are very good. Price will try to move away from it, right? So once it broke out finally, right, here within this area, correct, you can even go long at this pullback and put your stop right below hunting level right here, you know, at 1155. At that time NQ was also here, top of the blue line, yellow line, exchange area, right? So you can go long here, or you can wait for entire this area to be taken out, which is this was the bar, right? It took out, slight pullback here, you can go long, put your stop here and just wait, and then take a profit at 60 to 70. At 1 p.m. I said 60 to 70 is the max target, right? So you take a profit here, or you can wait till 70 like this, you know. And then NQ I said 300 or 350, right? So 300, see, look at this, 300, 70 and short, right? So there was a short setup also here, right here, because remember people are going to take profit, right? So here there was a mini balance, breakdown, end of the day, that was your short, if you want to take a short, you know. Otherwise no short. Here it was exit right here along with ES 60, right? So those are the trades today, you know. In the morning it was difficult to get on board early on because of the way ES was behaving, you know, and ES was behaving that because of that PMI news, you know. It was waiting for that PMI news right around this 10 o'clock. I think that's why ES was choppy in the morning while NQ was moving somehow, you know. See, this was the PMI news, but anyway, you know, so those were the trades today, you know? And let me talk about Mboxwave now. Okay, so let's start with the Mboxwave, right? So okay, so where do we start, right? So actually I'm looking at Mboxwave after the fact today, okay. I observed it here in the morning, but then I did not look at it, okay. I was so busy in my reading my actual chart, this one, so I did not look at this, right, because I can only look at so much information. So this is after the fact, okay. I'm now watching it with you, you know. So but then I observed these things, you know, like 5 minutes below, above us, 5 minutes back, you know. I just looked at this chart, right? So it was visible thing. So if first thing you notice is this buying, right, this buying, and if you look at it, it was greater than this, right, completely yesterday's buying. So at least you know buyers are there, correct. And now if you read the story before, right, so these were my levels, you know, yesterday's video, same thing, yesterday's video. If you look at it, the way the levels held in the yesterday's overnight, you know, there was a couple of failed breakdowns, right. So today is a similar pattern actually. If you look at it, this was the level, you know, and I carried forward this level from yesterday, and then price, you know, in the yesterday it closed here, right, then, you know, somebody held it here, right, and then again it went down, right, and then again it went back up, and then it was holding here, right, and then it went higher, correct, again held here, again held here, right, multiple occasion this damn support held it in the overnight, right, and now you had a nice up move from here, correct. So now you know some buyers are defending this level multiple occasion, they are looking for higher target. It is that simple, right. Then you can see there is a demand, you know, you can see there is a demand here, 690, 205, you know, all these things you can, yeah, basically you can combine all of this, right, and then you can combine all these red ones right here, right. So look at it here, right. So first of all, if you look at entire this price structure before open, right, see, this is a different way to look into these things, right. So the story is it is holding this support, right, yesterday's support, multiple occasion is held it, right? So I'm going to talk to you about high level stuff here, not like nitty-gritty details, right? So it's holding the support, that's the first thing, correct? Then demand, if you look at this demand overall, just add all these blue numbers, all this blue demand, you know, and then add this supplies number. You can see it clearly, the difference, right? And then you add the algos. Even you can add the algos also. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1. So which side is winning? You can ask yourself a question, right? 6 algos, positive side. Demand is super duper high. Supply only 1 algo and less supply, right? Here also there is no supply, correct? So at least at this point, you know, looking at this picture, buyers are in control. So, and now you look at my notes, right? So you don't have access to my notes, but hold on. So let me drag it if I have it here. Hold on, okay? So I'm just bringing my notes here, right? So if you already watched the previous part of this video, then you already aware that I'm looking for some kind of, these levels are important, I'm looking for open drive is required, right? That was the wording, right? So open drive could be either side, right? But at least by looking at this, you know buyers are in control. And if there is an open drive to the downside, then you know these buyers are trapped, and then price has an open drive down, it is going to take, right? But if these buyers are in control, and if there is an open drive to the upside, you know the buyers will be all over the place. Simple thing, right? So right of the open, what happened? First bar up, strong one, with this much buying, surpassing, like, you know, greater than entire yesterday's buying, right? That is the sign that NQ's buyers are in control. They want to take it higher, right? But then you look at ES, you know, ES was chopping around, still not above its required levels, okay? So you can either take, you have two choices, because these things came into resistance. See that this breakout came into this resistance, right? See, before that it was not touching this resistance. At the breakout time it touches the resistance, right? So two things can happen. Somebody can fool you, like price goes higher, touches into the resistance, somebody decided to short, and then price can take, and then you will get trapped, okay? That's the first scenario here, can happen. Or price may, this is just the reason that price did not touch this resistance before, because it wants to break out, right? So two ways. So here either scenario could be happening, right? So it's not a good idea for me to go long here, because I know my levels, right? Since you may not have this level, for you this is a long setup, right? So you go long right here based on Mboxwave, right here, right? For me, I will wait, right? And then because I know this resistance is also good resistance, but if price goes here, I know at least sellers, buyers have a control now, not sellers, and this is could be only reactionary response, which will give me a pullback into this resistance turning into support idea, okay? So that's where I will go long, right here at this low here, you know, at 49 area, right? So I will go long here. I don't need to look at the Mboxwave, you know, I will go long right here, because I know my support resistance turned into support at this point, because price went through it. So the idea of fooling around, like getting a rejection from here, is gone, because now price went through it, right? So now I know buyers are in control. So this resistance turned into support here, and then I will go long, since price already responded here, right? If the price goes again here, it will go through it, because of considering this much buying and all this thing, right? It will go through it. So that was my long at the lower level at 49, right? And then, you know, then you just manage it, right? Then what happened? Then there was a PMI news around 10 o'clock at this time, right? So price came down, correct? But now the expectation is price has to hold this level and this level. As long as price is holding above both of this support, right? Because they are now support, buyers have a control. Simple, right? So now you look into it when price was coming down, right? So first time you can see it here. Somebody even bought it this resistance and support idea, right? And then what happened? Price. So yes, you can go long here also, right? But remember, your stop has to be here below this low, right? So 37, you go long here 113, right? Almost 100 point stop, correct? It's good enough. In today's case, price was moving, open dry, price can still go higher, right? So good enough, right? You can put your stop here, look for more target. 300 was the target, ideally that was the target I gave. So if you're going long here, at least you have another 160 points to grab, right? So 100 point stop loss is still 1 to 1 or 1.1.5, right? So either you go long here with more risk, or you can wait for if you got lucky, price may come down a little bit lower and then you can go long, right? So for that it's a 1025 here, right? So let's look into 1 minute time frame, see if that gives us a clue, right? So 1025, which is right around here, right? So you want to go long here at 387, see. So if you look at 1 minute, it may give you indication that maybe 387 is like more supply. See, look at this supply. There was no greater than 200 here, right? But then 387 is a more supply, correct? So at least by looking at this, right, and looking at this, you can wait, right? So and then pullback signal, correct? So now you definitely going to wait. Then price went down, correct? And now you want to see more supply, but instead you see decreased supply, 277, right? Perfect. So now maybe this could be the area, right? But then you look at this, man, this is also diverging, right? So maybe this is the location probably to look for longs, right? But then this is not confirmed until price goes higher like this. Now oh, minus 277 plus 91, man, there should be a long here, right? And then you got lucky here because there was a double algo here, see that? And this thing was like this. Now you are ready to rock and roll right here. 100 was your price to go long, your stop was 61 or 60, 40 point stop, and you can look for 300 target, which is 200 point move up with 40 point stop loss, right? Which is 1 to 5 risk reward, but you need to know your target though, right? So 300 was your target, which is to the dot here, right? If you look at my Twitter, right, in a tweet I tweeted it at one later on though, but at 1 p.m. in my Discord I said 300 could be the max for the day in NQ, and ES is 60 to 70 area. Okay, so you can know at least that is the target, right? And anyway, if you are in Discord, then you will know that 300 is a good area. But so that's how it worked out today, and that be all for today.